Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is One of One, but you can call me Seven, and we are right in the middle of the sub-stories for Chapter 8, in the middle of Chapter 8.5. We stopped right in the middle, so I just want to keep going, so no talking, we're just gonna keep going, let's go. So, we're right in the middle of the Carnegie case. I still don't know why it's called that, so let's figure that out. It is the next day, noon. Aoko waited until her roommates were gone, then picked up the phone in the foyer. Tobimaru, Sojiro's gotten himself into something recently. Does anything ring a bell? Oh, right. All the money that he's been getting? That he's been showing up with just envelopes full of money? The sound of the first train leaving the station could be heard far off in the distance. This was that time of morning when the town was deciding if it felt like waking up or not. Tobimaru Tsukiji was having a walk down the city streets at sunrise, enjoying the fresh, crisp morning air. Oh, my man. This town really is beautiful when it isn't swarming with people. The crowds had become a common complaint of Tobimaru's. To him, the tacky, over-decorated street corners were the embodiment of human desire. At this time of day, the streets were nothing like the circus tent of activity they usually were. The main street was completely empty. It was like a lonely, tranquil morning after a festival. Weary men in black were busy cleaning up and restoring order in the bars after the previous night's revelry. Around the back entrance of the local restaurants, the kitchen crew were busy bringing in their daily ingredients while stifling back tired yawns. Birds carelessly wandered the streets. There wasn't even the sound of a single car engine to be heard. This was a uniquely refreshing sensation that could only be felt from a city morning. It existed somewhere between daily life and exciting entertainment. This was the only time of day when the bustling modern world stepped aside for a slower, more nostalgic pace. Okay, Tobimaru searched through his coat pockets but only found some old receipts. He rearranged the scarf around his neck to keep the cold wind at bay. Show me the drip, come on! He's at Central Park as the morning magic began to fade, no purpose to his stroll, merely making his way home after a night out on the town. Hello? Yeah, what the hell are you doing, man? Are you not you are a student. Tobimaru had a moment of unabashed self-reflection as he drank a can of vending machine coffee. Were you by yourself, buddy? He didn't particularly hate partying all night long, but it was pretty boring since he still wasn't old enough to drink alcohol. He'd been at it for a few days now, though, thinking it was at least better than being at home, but he was quickly growing bored of it. What are you doing? It was true that he was out wasting time like this because he didn't really have a place to go home to at the moment. Oh. The Tsukiji family always had a congregation of relatives over on New Year's Day as per his grandfather's orders. This was why his siblings and other relatives had been staying over at the Tsukiji home for a few days now. If Tobimaru was there, he'd just provide fuel for the fire. They'd just avoid his family. Sure, man, with insults. Start a fight, he wouldn't be able to resist the bait, more resentment and trouble for his father. Wait, I feel like, am I forgetting something about his family situation? Or are we really just learning something for the first time about this fella? Nothing more pointless or less enticing than getting involved in his sibling squabbles over the inheritance. Oh, I see. Here we go. Tobimaru Tsukiji was the fifth-born son to the Tsukiji family, which owned multiple plots of land in Misaki City. However, most of that land had been acquired after the war. Before that, they had been a minor noble family on the brink of ruin. The man who built the Tsukiji family into its current glory was Kimikuni Tsukiji, Tobimaru's grandfather and the current patriarch. Kimikuni married into the struggling Tsukiji family and saved them after they lost all their power during the war. The Tsukiji clan were local Shinto clergy and relied upon Kimikuni's financial assets. Kimikuni, on the other hand, had leveraged clan connections to establish himself in Misaki City. So it's a quid pro quo? While both parties came together for mutual gain, the Tsukiji family failed to recognize just how ambitious Kimikuni was when they accepted him into their family. He wasn't the obedient son-in-law they had imagined. He had grand plans of his own, growing and developing industries within Misaki City and many other areas as well. Kimikuni controlled all of these areas not as a member of the Tsukiji family, but under his own name. The castle's greatest defense was its moat, not the walls, and Kimikuni bridged the moat. It was the economic equivalent of starving out the enemy. Kimikuni's financial might subdued the noble Tsukiji family completely. Oh wow. In less than 10 years, there was no one in the family who could stand up against him. This businessman, accepted into the family as a mere son-in-law, had seized the Tsukiji name and the entirety of the family fortune. Oh my god. However, Kimikuni had fathered many children. Of course he had. It would not allow the Tsukiji bloodline to die out. That was also the only way to maintain the family fortune. His 3 sons and 1 daughter all married relatives of the... What? Wait. What? Wait. His 3 sons and 1 daughter. So He had fathered many children. So he's... Okay, hold on. Is there something wrong about this? Hold on, okay. So if we're to assume the best, because he, like, married into the family, right? Let's say his 3 sons and 1 daughter are all from outside the marriage, so they're all not related to the Tsukiji family at all. Right? So he's married... Yeah, no, I think this is fine. Thus strengthening the familial bonds that Kimikuni had weakened. Okay. Tobimaru was the 5th son of Hitoyoshi Tsukiji, Kimikuni's eldest son. Okay, sure. Wait, he's the 5th son? Did I miss that? Holy hell. However, his mother was not a member of the family. Oh, classic. The result of a fling with a mistress. That ignoble birth defined his place in the family. He was his father's love child. Although the family's dignity was somehow maintained, since he was the son of Hitoyoshi, it wasn't difficult to imagine the level of mistreatment Tobimaru faced from his siblings and other relatives. Being raised in such a hostile environment made Tobimaru grow up far faster than he should have. His ability to think quickly and objectively was honed naturally within this challenging environment. However, those exact traits also brought Tobimaru a great deal of trouble. Kimikuni Tsukiji. Unfortunately, against all odds, this great leader of the Tsukiji family favored Tobimaru over everyone else, including his own eldest son. Oh, okay. Since Kimikuni had been a commoner himself, he did not believe in blood inheritance alone. To make matters worse, not a single coin from his great fortune had been given to any of his sons yet. Oh my god. This is such a tough position. The most loathsome thing in this world is the blood of the Tsukiji family. I never would have had any of you if I could have helped it. Those words were spoken at every family gathering, and they were the absolute truth. He'd taken a liking to Tobimaru after speaking with him at these annual family gatherings, and enjoyed playing chess with him in his spare time ever since. Everyone in the family was worried Kimikuni would name Tobimaru his successor. In this way, Tobimaru had gone from being worthless to a threat in the eyes of Kimikuni's sons, his uncles. The son who felt the most fear and hatred was Tobimaru's own father, Hitoyoshi, who would have been the unquestionable heir as the eldest son. Wow, this sucks. And this was how Tobimaru became estranged from his father. They no longer even lived in the same house. Hitoyoshi always acted like they had a great father-son relationship in front of Kimikuni, but that would only last until his father was no longer around or until Tobimaru was officially named the heir. When that happened, it would be all-out war. In any case, it would not be a pleasant story. There it is. Oh my goodness. Look at, oh man, my man. Look at him. Look at that drip. It's immaculate. Holy hell. Okay, so, hard time reading between the lines, wasn't all that worried. In public, it looked like they had a good father-son relationship. In private, they were in the midst of a bitter inheritance dispute. Things had always been that way. His sole protector, his father, was now his mortal enemy. Oh, great. Oh, that's totally not gonna fuck you up. Tobimaru had always been at odds with his family. His father was just one more enemy to add to that pile. It's not quite the same, buddy. Staying out all night like this was Tobimaru's way of avoiding his family. If he was home, he knew they would try to gauge his feelings. However, they wouldn't openly attack him now. Even the relatives who looked down on him and his siblings who had bullied him as a child. The worst they would do was make snide remarks. Tobimaru was, at his core, a peaceful person who preferred to avoid trouble whenever possible. Petty revenge, or even stepping up to Kimikuni's expectations weren't on his to-do list. His father's worries were unfounded. His relatives were getting riled up for no reason, and Tobimaru had no intention of stepping out of his role as the prodigal son. However, his siblings, who were around the same age as him, held a different kind of resentment. Perhaps they felt guilty for tormenting him all those years, or perhaps it was the result of their roles being reversed. He's going to get back at us one day. They lived in such fear of this that they didn't dare ignore Tobimaru. I'm not good at dealing with all that talking behind my back. And they just confront me like Aozaki, it might at least be interesting. His family problems were simply a chore. They never really worried him much. He was used to human malice, although he'd nearly died from the physical abuse of his siblings. Even though someone had once tried to kill him with true murderous intent. Even though he had been exposed to how the elite, untouchable class of society treated others by his eldest brother. It was all such a pain in the ass. Hey man, this suddenly got way darker than I was expecting it to get. Oh no, that's really not good. These were all events that would change a person's outlook on life, but he always remained cool-headed. And that was just how things were for Tobimaru. He had grown bored of his relatives getting worked up over everything. I guess everyone is different. I do sympathize with my dad. You'd have to be tough to be the son of that old man. Tobimato honestly could not care less about who would be the next heir. He had no clear plans for the future yet. His only real goal was to wash his hands of his family and start fresh when he became an adult. Hey, good for you, man. Good that you know what you want, but this sounds like a really complicated situation. Everything that happened was a life experience. He continued his morning walk, thinking it was better to enjoy the nightlife now while he was still young. Someone was already sitting on the bench when Tobimato entered the plaza. A girl dressed in black, a well-dressed old man with a cane sat with her. Alice? He approached the bench to say hello. It is! Oh, we've never seen this guy before. Nothing about him is familiar. He looks oddly real. His face, I mean, the way they drew his face. I like his all-green outfit, too. He seemed like a kind old man spending time with his grandchild, and the truth was, though... I still don't understand what went wrong. We provided every service we could think of. We always thanked our employees and greeted visitors with a smile. But the times haven't favored me. What's worse, my art was outright rejected. I'll never forgive them. Those media vultures can die for all I care. How dare they call them nightmarish creatures? Why, they only wish they could dream up such mascots. We give them a mouse that walks on two legs and they fawn over it. Oh, what, Disney? Or Disney? Disney? If you really think about it, a rodent that owns a dog is a pet? Got it. That's a nightmare. How can an animal keep another animal as a pet? If anything, an animal should keep a human as a pet, don't you think? Actually, this poor young woman was getting an earful from this old man. After his outburst, he paused for a moment. I'm sorry. I forgot myself. He scolded himself and hung his head. Just answer me this, Alice. What was so wrong with my Kitsy? I had a feeling this guy was Kitsy Land. Did Kitsy being his mascot? Horns. You should have given Kitsy horns. The girl in black returned the old man's solemn bow with a grim answer of her own. A kid could easily get injured by something like that. I don't want to harm them physically, just mentally. What is happening here? He was already too close. If he passed by without saying anything, the old man would certainly make a fuss. Good morning. Isn't it a bit early for so much regret, Mr. Tokitsu? Seems it's about time you passed on to a better place and stopped worrying your kids. Tsukiji's bratty black sheep. Morning, Toby. You're up early, as usual. I'm just heading home after being out all night. I don't live a healthy lifestyle like you two. And good morning to you too. Oh, he called her what? Konji Ojo-sama? Miss Konji? The girl looked up calmly at Tobimato's greeting. It was none other than the witch on the hill, Alice Konji. How long has it been since we really talked? Maybe it was at that party 2 years ago? Well, it's rare to see you out like this. That's not true. I walk through the park at this time of morning quite often, actually. That's kind of surprising. I always thought of you as kind of a shut-in. As proof, I can say I've seen you walking around here looking like a mess on many an occasion. Whatever you do is your business. Just try not to cause any trouble for Aoko. Thank you for the words of caution. I'll do my best. It's cool that they know each other. I guess it's because it's the families, very prominent families in Misaki City. Tobimato and Alice rarely interacted, though their fathers were acquainted. Even so, the histories and spheres of influence of the two families were very different. Though the Tsukijis held sway in Misaki City, the Kuonjis influenced the whole of Japan. Normally, someone like Tobimato would not be in the same social circles as Alice. The only reason they could interact like this at all was because they were both friends with Aoko Ozaki. You and Alice were friends. You're not dating, are you? Don't tell me if that's true, I'll die of a heart attack right here and now. You'd be the murderer and Alice would be your weapon. That's a phenomenal line, holy crap. You should write that down as my cause of death. Oh, say it ain't so. This heartless love shall be the cause of my demise. So, tell me again why a girl like you hangs around with this pathetic old man? Is it the same reason I do? Because of your father? He's my pen pal. He has more antiques than he can handle, so Aoko and I are taking some off his hands. Despite this being one of the only times they'd really talked, Tobimato and Alice both managed to completely ignore the old man. The way you hide your embarrassment is charming. You can call me... Oh, how do you pronounce his name? I want to know. Yulish. We're just gonna say Julik. Sure. Julish? Yulish? I don't know actually now. Shoot. Alice's face remained neutral, like a doll's. Toki. I'm looking for a nice painted teacup, something from the 1900s, maybe from Dresden. Okay. come by with that terrifying friend of yours. He responded to her request like an obedient marionette. You know, I'm surprised you haven't ruined yourself looking for love in all the wrong places, old man. You see, this old man was none other than Yurihiko Tokitsu. He was famous in Yashirogi as the former head of the Tokitsu baking company with factories all across Japan. He still served as an advisor. An artist is only old when he's lost his sensibility. My fire hasn't burned out yet. I'm so young, it's almost stifling. Tokitsu. I think you're an archetype that we don't like around here. There's nothing quite like having a nice time with a young woman. I'm sure we can at least agree with that, or on that, can't we, Toby? Don't lump me in with you, I like older women. I definitely don't have a thing for girls who are less than half my age, I can tell you that much. That'd be quite the crime. You're only 17. I don't even want to think about what age you'd be talking about. Mr. Tokitsu nodded his head in self-affirmation. He chose to ignore Tobimato's off-color remarks. Tobimato was reluctantly impressed with the man's magnanimity in the end. I just wanted to say good morning, I'll get out of your hair, sorry to interrupt your fun. Fate has led you here, relax and oh no, he's trying to... Oh god, villa? Helicopter? He's trying to get out of here, man. Thanks for the invitation. If anyone I know sees me, they'll think I'm even more of a spoiled rich kid. You're like avoiding that right now. Reluctantly backed off, such intuitive understanding made it obvious how this man had expanded the Tokitsu baking company nationwide. He had divined Tobimato's complicated family situation in an instant. Tell Mick I said hello and that he should retire and make up with his kids soon. Gonna fall on deaf ears, but okay. See you around, Miss Konji. I'll be sure to say hello next time I see you around in the morning. Alice's silence neither encouraged nor discouraged this. He shrugged and left. Are we still following our boy? Yeah, he's getting out of here. There's a radio tower under construction there that the Tsukichi family had a hand in, blah, 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 blah. 10 years into the future with this mobile tower, made in the field of mobile communications, their technology is going to be ahead, the foreign firm struck on the deal with Tobimato's father, Hitoyoshi. I want my daughter to live here in Misaki City. I hope that she and your son can get to know each other better when that day comes. He was a handsome man who had the calm command of a leader. The fact that he had offered up his daughter to Tobimato showed that he had researched the Tsukichi family's inheritance issues well. When are you gonna realize you're getting played, Dad? It's so obvious. I'm not interested in blondes anyway. She can take her skanky, money-grubbing hands elsewhere. Oh my god! Tobimato stopped in his tracks after these muttered complaints. So... Oh, okay. Oh, is he just thinking about it when it was built? Yeah, okay. He took the phone from the housemaid. And there's Aoko giving the phone call. Yes, that was never a good sign when Aokazaki's on the line. There we go. We've connected the two bits. Yeah, there we go. Everything about that is as suspicious as it gets, dude. All this is the Carnegie case. There's just two homies who are worried that their innocent friend is getting scammed. They're just worried about him, even though neither of them would admit it. Well, maybe I think Tobimata would admit it, but seems caught up in a strange part-time job. I'll wait for you in Central Park to talk about it. There we go, and here they are. A light migraine coming on after hearing about the situation. And Alice and Tokitsu are gone. I'm not trying to be judgmental about what someone does for work, but this just doesn't seem right. He hasn't told you anything about this? Sorry, but I haven't heard anything. He's super secretive about his job. He said he can't talk to anyone about it or something. Yeah, he's always so tight-lipped about anything that involves other people. He's not going to talk easily. Oh, I guess he must be pretty loyal if even you think that about him. What is that supposed to mean? I'm not implying anything. I'm just saying. You get mad about pretty much everything. If you're watching his back outside of school, you must really like him. Not really. It's just that he... Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, risk aversion. Oh, okay, just doing your duty. I respect it. You're the perfect student council president. I mean, it's not even a school day and you're out here just to make sure our school's reputation is upheld. Either, dude, damned if you do, damned if you don't. This guy's got you dead to rights. It's like, oh, you're doing it for our school? You're doing it for him? Yeah, her glare seemed to suggest that she wasn't interested in hearing any objections. This little bluff was rather charming to Tobimata, who was well aware of Sojo and Aoko's current living situation. At any rate, I guess it's my duty as vice president to tag along with this investigation then. You continue investigating Sojo, for the reputation of our school, of course. I'll provide support however I can, and we'll watch out for Sojo as his friend. Aw, look at her. She's so embarrassed. For some reason, she did not seem satisfied by this. Let's get started. Where he's working, what's the address? You tried to tail him? You got nowhere? He turned and walked towards 2nd Street from the train station? The vice president was used to this. He didn't bother saying anything about her going so far as to tail him. Just a bunch of pachinko parlors and arcades around there. I can't think of anywhere that'd be paying him tens of thousands of yen a day. If I knew a place like that, I'd be inclined to work there myself. The only place you can gamble in Misaki is the pachinko parlor, right? There are no gambling spots that violate the Entertainment Business Act in town. He said that the owner of the pachinko parlor is an agreeable sort who seems happy sticking to his current business. Okay. So, what's the bid? Yeah. Nothing except maybe selling his body. Maybe people are paying him for a night. Just the... Huh? There was a slight delay in Aoko's reaction. It took her a few seconds to register what he was saying, but then her jaw dropped. Selling his body? Are you serious? Oh, chill out. I meant as a model or something. I heard they make pretty good money. I heard that too, and art school kids are usually pretty rich. Maybe that's all it is. That's not so bad. Oh, dude, the way that she's relieved. I mean, he would be nude, of course. You're messing with her. So he is getting naked for money. God, you're putting all these ideas in her head. Without any real information to go on, the conversation was quickly diverging further from the topic at hand. Without knowing the location or type of work, there really wasn't much to talk about. Alright, we'll tail him together. No clues, no information. All we know is that he's making a lot of money, and that's not really... He furrowed his brow, and seemed that he had thought of something. His expression turned more dire by the second. What's wrong, Tobimaru? Did you remember something? Kind of. I just remembered one other idiot who's been making a lot of cash recently. Since about 3 days ago, he's been flaunting a lot of money and going to all these expensive mixer parties. And he's in the same class as Sojiro. She put 2 and 2 together. I know you're talking about. Time to go find the... There he is! You know I can't turn down an invite even if I'm in the middle of studying. I'm here to party, guys! Suspect A was apprehended with ease. Aoko and Tobimaru were both on the student council, so they knew their target would be at school for remedial lessons. Tobimaru got a girl in Kinomi's class to tell him that he had some good news to share outside. Kinami took the bait and came running out the school's front gate as fast as he could. Hey, sorry to call you out when you're trying to study. No worries. I was actually just using school as an excuse to skip my job. But then that was boring too, so I was just having a nap in the nurse's office. Then that's why I got the call from you, so I'm all ready to party. What's going on? Kinami gave a double thumbs up to show he was really ready to have some fun. Oh, poor guy. No, but he sucks though, but still. I thought you'd be out and about, so I'm glad I caught you. I heard you've been holed up in the arcade for the past few days. Giving out free games and stuff, which is fun, but not so much once you run out of cash. It's all guys in there. No point in talking about dough that's already spent. Easy come, easy go. You feel like taking a broke guy out like me out on the town today, or what? Oh, what does it say? First, this bigwig here has a few questions for you. Hi, Kinomi-kun. You mind telling me a little bit about all this money you came into recently? Kinomi's expression went blank. Yeah, dude, no thoughts behind... Dude, he's like feels like caught in a trap right here. If anyone could sniff out danger, it was him. And it stank like his impending doom. Well, you see, I really need to get back to studying, so is it okay if I head back? Of course! Once you answer all of my questions. We don't have much time either, so I hope you'll confess quickly. So again, tell me about this money you recently came into. I know you make around 20,000 yen a month from your part-time job. I don't think that's quite enough to live like a king for 3 days. It seemed the next logical question would be to ask if he had begun a life of crime. Why is this even any of your business? You're treating me like a criminal. I don't have anything to confess. This isn't fair. What's going on? Nothing yet. We just heard about some students who recently came into a significant amount of money and we're looking into it. A job that pays tens of thousands of yen a day is very tempting to a broke student, but we haven't heard of any such jobs reported to the school. It's our job as a student council to be on the lookout for any dangers to our students. That's all. Aoko was still smiling as she inched closer to Kinomi. She had never spoken to him this nicely after what he had done at the entrance ceremony. That alone was enough to make him think he was in big trouble. Really? I haven't heard about anything like that. My case is different. I was just using money I saved up. It's just before Christmas, so I thought I'd go a bit wild with my spending. Sort of a cleansing of the spirit, you know? Isn't this time of year usually when people are trying to save money? Oh, now, Tsukiji, let's be more sensitive. That being said, I hate to point this out, but it's obvious that Kinomi here has no date for Christmas Eve. It would be a shame if word of that got around school. I totally have a date, seriously. Also, you're the one being insensitive here. Oh, really? Well, then I guess you have some money saved up for your big Christmas Eve date then? Of course I do. Extra income and savings are two separate things. Look, my dad is super strict about watching my bank statements. He'd yell at me the moment he saw anything odd, thinking I was doing something bad. My sister searches my room, so I can't hide anything there. They even found the porn mags I hid up in the ceiling. If they found an envelope full of cash, they'd take me down to the police station, so I used the money right away. Kinomi laughed awkwardly as if he was ashamed. He wasn't even aware of just how much he had let slip. Oh, extra income? That's not what you said earlier. No, I mean, it was a bonus for my part-time job. They just gave me an extra 5,000 yen, just a little. It's nothing crazy. So why were you talking about an envelope full of cash? I'm talking myself into a hole here. Are you trying to entrap me or something? Get a lawyer. Get a lawyer. Get a lawyer. Get a lawyer. Kinomi-kun, do I have to remind you that we're running short on time here? I don't want to have to get physical with you. The threat of a kick to the face from Aoko was enough to show him that she was serious. Okay, I'll talk. Yes, I am making extra income from a new part-time job. I got a bonus from introducing Shizuki to them, that's all. What did you just say? If Kinomi really was working at the same part-time job as Sojiro, she wanted to get as much information from him as she could. This was the exact response she had wanted, if not better. But she felt dizzy from the implications. So you get a bonus? Dude, it sounds like something Tanaka would come up with. It's an MLM. It was the oldest trick in the book for pyramid schemes and other unscrupulous business practices. Hell yeah. This went back all the way to before final exams, a job he'd heard from an older student. Since the job required a kind, honest young man, Kinomi reluctantly gave up on it for himself and instead passed it on to a friend he thought fit that description. Oh my god, you yourself knew it sounded shady. Why wouldn't I pass something like this on to a friend? Dude needed help, so I tried to help him out. Plus, we both profited. Well, yeah, but you also have to do your due diligence first before you tell him about something like that. That's way too much effort for a guy like me. I don't think you understand how friendship between guys works. You realize we're all dumb, right? I do start to believe that the more I look at you, honestly. How do you hang out with him, Tobimaru? Okay, that's enough. You can lecture him later. It'll take at least a full day to reform someone as dense as him. Alright, I can reform in a day. Probably forget everything once I sleep on it, though. Hey, at least you're self-aware. It's easier than talking to someone who doesn't realize they're an idiot. There's not many people who realize that compassion is not for other people's benefit at such a young age. Okay, I can see how you two would get along. Thought you were praising me, we're not praising you, definitely not. Yeah. Alright, so what is this thing that you've got Shizuki into? Part-time job in question, past the entertainment district, into the seedy part of 2nd Street. Right around here, so Kinomi, where is this place? Just over there. 4-story office building. Look no different from an apartment complex. The hallway on the 1st floor continues around to the back of the building. Okay, into that back alley. Now there are 3 of them. They should be okay. I hope. Well, they were not likely to be seen. 3 students stuck out like a sore thumb in an entertainment district like this. I mean, yeah, probably. You said it was an office, but what's the work like? You're asking me? That's literally all I know. I just heard about the job from that student. I don't know the details. I brought Sojiro here, they gave me the money, and that was it. Their top suspect just admitted he knew no further details. Hosuke Kinomi, co-defendant, or perhaps who they thought may have been the main culprit, was really no more than an annoying witness. Okay, you're so irresponsible. Have you ever seen any westerns? Do you know what they do with informants who are no longer useful? I've seen Sailor Suit and Machine Gun, though, mostly because I think the lead actress is hot. You should at least watch for a few dollars more sometime. The informant in that film meets an untimely demise, by the way. You need to put a collar on this girl. She's like a wild dog over here. Tsukiji? Why are you making that face? Do you know something about that building? This is bad. I know all about it. They're a fraudulent sales company that just came into town. They're a complete racket. Ako was sad to hear that the truth was as bad as she thought. Kinomi seemed confused as usual. You sure? She would lie. They front as a kind of new religion, but they're actually selling down quilts. They target the elderly and sell them these super low quality quilts at extremely marked up prices. That's a leased office, so after they make their money here for a month or so, they're probably planning on skipping town. He's definitely being scammed. He's the perfect target for a group like that. Ah, shit. Alright, she's in. She's in. And then I'm gonna string you up on the school's flagpole, Kinomi. You're gonna hang me? Wait a second, Naozaki. Something's not right here. Sojiro had wads of cash, right? Then how is he being scammed? You're right. I got so caught up with Kinomi that I forgot all about the money. Or all about all the money. Does that mean he's scamming them? He'd be the one losing money, but he's making money. Maybe Sojiro's the one doing this scamming. Do you really think he'd join a group of scammers? Are you kidding me? Who in the right mind would be duped by Shizuki? He couldn't lie his way out of a paper bag. There's no way he's out here scheming. Yeah, but maybe he doesn't realize what he's doing is scamming people. He probably really believes he's selling a good product. Give me a cut of his profits next time I see him, whap. Up the back of the head. We waited out to gather more info? He could be arrested for fraud, though he is still a minor at least. Won't get any kind of real sentence. I guess it all depends on what his contract said when they hired him. Might be a member of their group. She's a lot more chill now. Tobimaru had been serving with her on the student council for over a year. He knew exactly what she was thinking at a time like this. If he signed a contract, it's going to be hard to get him out of it. Even if he wants to leave, it's legally binding. How far do you want to go with this? We have to stop their business. If they want to say they're free to practice their beliefs, they'll have to go to worship elsewhere. Yeah, you aren't messing around. What do we do? Get him to quit? This isn't only his problem anymore. The fact that they're trying to recruit other students makes it our problem too. Oh wow, they fully make it their own thing, huh? I mean, these aren't just any ordinary high school teenagers as far as we know, so... They're technically illegal business, just like predatory loan services. The police can only give them a warning, and if we disrupt their business, they'll try and sue us for damages. We shouldn't rush into this. I know. First we need to find out more about the company, who their president is, and how many employees they have. We also need to look for possible... This is an insanely long side chapter. Chapter 8.5? Jesus Christ. What's wrong? Oh. Did you spot our boy? There he is! Walked confidently up to the office building, disappeared inside. Hadn't noticed them, just started his shift, still oblivious to the severity of the situation he was in. That little... Uh-oh, he doesn't realize what he's doing. Oh, dude, the fist, the shaking fist. Aoko raised her head up in a fury and clenched her fist. She was no longer her usual calm and collected self. This was the student council president who ruled with an iron fist, fueled by her own righteous indignation. Call up Mino and tell him we need 20 of the most intimidating guys from his team here immediately. Tell him to gear up because we might have a fight on our hands? What? She looked like an esteemed general charging into battle against an enemy squadron. Wait, what did he say? You mean the captain of the cheer squad? Also, 20 guys? What the hell are you planning on doing? What do you think? We're gonna crack some skulls. We won't get anywhere trying to make this into a legal battle. Any organization that's grooming students into committing crimes on their behalf will only answer to physical force. Oh my god, that's a scary face on her. She kind of looks, I hate it. I'm scared. I mean, what is this light of truth garbage on their sign? They can just come into our town and sell their dingy down quilts to our unsuspecting citizens? Okay, just calm down. What happened to our peaceful plan just a minute ago? Only the police are allowed to use violence against criminals. Come back here. No, I'm grabbing her. Hey! We're doing this precisely because you said the police can't do much. If you have a problem with it, then come up with a better plan. I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I'm just telling you to calm down for a minute. I haven't had time to think of an alternative plan, even if I wanted to. What were you thinking of earlier? You said something about going through the legal system. We investigate the company, help the victims of the scam come together. Out of touch with the times. Jeez, what is this? What is this goofy ass side? I love it, but what is happening? Yeah, let's just try to solve this peacefully and within the law. They've got a plan to try and minimize damages and not go in there and beat the shit out of people. Get refunds for some quilts if they can. For those that were scammed, that money is lost forever. It's not your job to worry about that. We should get in touch with Kumari. She was raised in the shopping district and should know the best way to go about things. Kozika? I hate to get her involved in this, but we don't have much of a choice. We call up Mino. Why do we still need the cheer squad? They're good for more than just intimidation. They can help support the victims when we find them. I know Mino's team looks scary, but they're all good at heart, right? Once we've made sure there's a cooling off period for those contracts, they can take care of the paperwork for them. It's not a bad idea. I bet those idiots won't know what to do when 20 big strong guys come in demanding refunds. Kinomi had been completely left to the wayside in this whole discussion. So what's a cooling off period? Never heard of it. It's a clause that allows you to return an item you purchased and get a refund for the full amount paid at the time of purchase. It was officially put into practice in Japan about 10 years ago. How is that any different from a normal return? It's just legally protected. If the Light of Truth wants to use the law to their advantage, then we can do the same. That's why we're gonna fight for them. In reality, only a very narrow range of products were applicable for the satisfaction period law, and it was currently unclear if those handled by the Light of Truth fell under that umbrella. If it was not applicable under this law, Alco would have to think of another plan. However, not 30 minutes later, that worry would vanish when they got the chance to examine an actual quilt sold by the Light of Truth. Once Alco has an established plan, she will not waver from it. They had made a cafe with a view of the office building, their command center. And after they got together others from the student council for backup, their one-day blitz tactic plan began. This is like oh my god, this is like side episode, like this is like anime filler, but like it's like sick. I think it's hilarious. This is really funny. This is so goofy. Tobimaru decided the thought of trying to complete everything in a day's time. Kinomi is here. Tobimaru had gotten Aoko to abandon the idea of a physical fight. Aoko knew that the contact plan would be difficult to pull off and continued to research other options. There were many conditions that needed to be met for this plan to actually work. The major issue was the amount of time elapsed from the time of purchase. For consumable goods, the time limit for a legal return was 8 days. If there were 30 or so victims, this would probably only be applicable to 1 or 2 of them. If that was the case, they needed to look for some other consumer protection besides the satisfaction clause. Wait, really? If items of low value are sold at an unfair price, the contract may be invalidated as profiteering. However, this must be founded in public order and morality. Doesn't this generally always favor the seller? The courts can't punish solely on the basis of suspicion. We'd be at the disadvantage if it came to an extended argument. Difficult situation. They wouldn't be able to stand up to an experienced group of scam artists with their limited knowledge of the law. They need to fight fire with fire, in this case. A scam with a scam. We scammed them out of the same amount of money they scammed out of the victims. To do that, they need more. Oh my god! What are they doing? Oh, Kumari, casual drip, let's go! I've got the addresses of 10 additional candidates and one of the actual quilts sold. God. Alco took the list of victims from the student council secretary. Oh, she's the secretary? I thought there were only 2 members of the student council! I guess that explains why Kumari was there talking to Alco in the student council room while she was working. But what? I didn't know. I feel like maybe I'm just missing key information while I'm reading these lines. All right, so contacting him on his pager. Pagers can only receive short messages like "call me." They were a powerful means of communication in an age when people relied on public telephones. Okay, sure. Let Aoyama handle the proceedings. If you could get some business cards made up to throw them off, that'd be helpful too. Remember that fake organization we made up for the school festival? Use that and put that phone number on the cards. We can have Mr. Yamashita field the calls. The victims advocacy group was currently at just over 10 members. The group's aim was to help the victims of the scam get their money back and remove themselves from the light of truth. Some of the victims had not even realized they'd been scammed, so with some explanation, about 10 more members were added. It helped that it was polite, young, well-dressed students who were giving them this information. The elderly generally seem more accepting of anyone who is around the age of their grandchildren. We've done a good job getting this far. We've got our goal of 20 people in no time. All the conditions clearly made it easy. We looked for anyone over the age of 60 who lived alone, was not a member of their local neighborhood association. We just did exactly what the salespeople from the Light of Truth did. Our work is just getting started. It's still going to be all we can do to make a complaint against their... Aozaki? What's with the weird smile all of a sudden? Found something very interesting is all. We may be fighting an uphill battle, but this might change the tides in our favor. Look here at this tag. Aoko showed her the product label sewn into the down quilt. There on the tag was what looked like the Japanese Industrial Standards logo. Okay. Holy shit. All right, hold on. We're all in it, guys. Hold on. We are just bear with. We are here for filler. Let's get it. The Japanese industrial standards help maintain the quality of industrial products in Japan. Products with this mark were required to be produced in accordance with the Industrial Standardization Law. JLS? This actually makes the contracts work in our favor. I thought we were dealing with professionals, but it turns out they're actually a group of amateurs. Oh my god. Gonna be able to get all the money back? She dialed a different number on the red phone while humming to herself. You need to tell him about our change of plans. I will after this, but right now I have to figure out who to put in charge of the negotiations. I don't think Tobimaru or myself could do such an important role justice. Still in an evenly matched battle, they could completely turn the tables on us in the discussion, so we need someone ruthless to represent us. No, for this we need an adult with some kind of social standing. Don't worry, I actually know the perfect person for the job. Let's just say you need a scammer to fight a scammer. I know someone whose sole job is to win arguments against people in town. I doubt she has anything going on today, so I thought we might put her to work. Anyone who goes up against her is guaranteed to have a mental breakdown in an hour, no matter what kind of scam they're running. The ringing tone had long since gone silent. I don't want to assume anything, but were you talking about me this whole time, Aoko? Is this? Wait, is this? Wait. Is this someone we've seen before? Was this when we were viewing the town from Shizuki's perspective when he had just gotten into town? And we saw that lady? Was it at the pachinko parlor? They were gambling somewhere. It could be her. What about the person that he met at the church? Okay, hold on. Aoko innocently said her greetings and smiled like a hunter who had just gotten their prey to take the bait. You know, I've always thought this about you, but you really don't have enough respect for your elders, Aoko. Had returned from their task and stood there wide-eyed. The person Aoko had invited to the cafe looked so out of place that it was a shock to everyone. Yuika. Oh, I feel like I should remember her. Is she the lady who was at the church? Hold on, I gotta look this up. Okay, I have to be careful because I think I almost definitely spoiled myself, but I actually didn't retain any of the information. I didn't really read that closely. I just skimmed the page looking for pertinent information. I think we haven't met this lady yet. It's just been a while since I played the earlier parts of the game. But I think this is an entirely new character. Please correct me if I'm wrong, fellas. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Is there anything else you want me to go over? I received the full report about the Light of Truth from Ritsuka. I do not require any lectures from you on that matter. Well, aren't we in a mood? That's perfect, though. Take that attitude to them. When you're in the zone, your glare alone is enough to make someone faint. Isn't this lady a nun at Ida Church? Or Ida? I actually really look up to her. Oh crap, now's not the time. Hi, my name's Hosuke Kinomi. Ozaki and I aren't really friends. Kinomi was clearly trying to earn points by showing that he was, also was not that friendly with Aoko. Sister Yuika gave him an angelic smile back. A sister at Ida Church, my name is Yuika Suse. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Hosuke. She's really a nun. Something amazing up your sleeve. I'm fine with just having her around in general. I think we can all imagine. It's a pleasure to meet you, Sister Yuika. My name is Tobimaru Tsukiji, Student Council Vice President. Tobimaru didn't look so well. Perhaps he had figured out where this course of events was headed. The JLS label was indeed illegal. This discovery made Aoko realize how they could get their victims' money back and run the Light of Truth out of town completely. Sister Yuika was her solution. I thought the plan was to let the evidence do the talking. And if they don't want to be sued, get them to settle out of court. They'd pay back the money and get out of town. But now this is something else. She doesn't want to just kick them out of town. She wants to fleece them for all they've got. Uh-oh, it's not because she's a nun. That's just the kind of pull Yuika has around here. Anyway, here's the signatures of everyone in the advocacy group. The cheer team is also helping. Take some of the fellas. If things get too heated, it's going to be a pain to resolve later. Let's just bring 5 to keep the peace. And you can come if you'd like to, Aoko. I thought you were gonna do it, Prez. She may not look it, but she's actually a specialist in these kinds of She brought- What is this? What is going on? I'm willing to help. We both will benefit. They're operating an illegal business. Sins must not go unpunished. What? They must feel the pain of the trauma that they've inflicted upon the town. You've been crushing the competition for a long time now. There's simply no need for 2 schools of thought in a single place. Huh? Okay. Fighting for the same team, the 5 burly members of the cheer team filed in behind them. They had left behind a glum Tobimaru and a completely clueless Kinomi. I really don't know what's going on. What is Aozaki trying to get that poor woman to do for her? Oh, you do not even want to know what kind of cruelty Aozaki is capable of inflicting upon her enemies. Once they get the company to terminate everyone's contracts based on the illegal sales, the 2 will take legal action against them. That's where Sister Yuika comes in. She is far more qualified than Aozaki, who's just a student. I've heard some less than savory rumors about that church, too. This company will be lucky if losing all their funds is the worst that happens. After taking a few deep breaths, Tobimaru also headed towards the office building. Isn't it a little scary? I'm not going, are you crazy? I just have some business to attend to. You go back to school. It was fun though. Half the day's gone. Alright, well, off he goes. He just said he wasn't going in there. He left. What'd that say? He left. Sorry, guys. He left as well after hearing a noise that sounded like glass breaking on the 3rd floor of the office building. A wise man never courts danger, as they say. The discussion ended without any major issues. The inside of the office was mostly untouched. Only the central line of desks had been pulverized by Sister Yuika. Things had been resolved peacefully without any bloodshed. The office had been conquered in about an hour, and Aoko was now surveying it. A large desk had gone right through the window, flung through the air with a single swing of Sister Yuika's hand. The sales staff were shaking in the corner like they'd just seen the devil incarnate. Sister Yuika brought in the 5 members of the cheer team to seize the office's permits and other important documents. Okay. And now she's looking for Shizuki. He's not in there. Did you see a harmless-looking teenage boy come in here? I know he hasn't left the building, so he must still be in here somewhere. Nobody had seen a student who fit that description in the office. She's confused. Oh well. She's still happy that she'd done a good deed here today. Oh, does he know? Wait, is this the con of the century? Tobimaru entered the office building and headed straight down the hallway. He glanced at the stairs in front of him as he walked by, passing several tenants and heading towards the emergency exit at the back of the building. Tobimaru knew the geography of 2nd Street well. If his memory served correctly, there were some old one-story houses behind this building that had been around forever. They were old tin-roofed rental houses that stood against the tides of time. Though overshadowed by the recent trend of 2-story apartments, they were still there, alive and kicking. At the back of the office building, there was a river for processing wastewater. Beyond the river and the fence, there were many one-story houses, and next to the building, there was a bridge that crossed over to the other side. It was a shortcut only neighborhood locals would know about. Pretty intense shortcut. Saw familiar? As Tobimaru walked towards the bridge, he saw a familiar face exit one of the old tin roof houses. The young man was wearing a coat and was without a doubt Sojiro Shizuki. See you tomorrow. Sojiro crossed the bridge while the old woman who resided there saw him off. Is that you, Tobimaru? Yo, fancy meeting you here, Slick. The two exchanged glances as they crossed paths on the bridge. Sojiro looked fairly spent. That was all Tobimaru needed to see. Sojiro's new job was a lot harder than working for any scam artists. They both stopped to talk on the footbridge. You have relatives around there or something? No. I was just keeping the old woman who lives there company. Someone told me about it, and it sounded like something I could do. For some reason, Sojiro readily revealed what he had refused to tell Aoko. Is it okay to be talking about it? Sounds like something they might want to be kept secret. Oh no, it's fine. It's not really anything I needed to keep quiet about. I just thought maybe I shouldn't before. You saw me coming out of there, and I actually have been wanting to tell someone about it. I didn't want to complain, but since you asked. Leaning on the rail of the footbridge, Tobimaru urged him to go on. It turned out that Sojiro's story was nothing out of the ordinary. His new part-time job was to be a home helper in that old one-story house. This resident was a widow who had been left all alone after her son moved off to the city. Aww. At first, I was just helping around the house. He spoke with a troubled, slightly regretful smile. Maybe he was ashamed of something he'd done? There was a tinge of darkness behind the wry, tormented smile on his face. Oh, what's going on? Tobimaru found himself surprised at his own thoughts and slapped himself lightly on the cheek. This was his way of punishing himself. He wasn't sure why his imagination was running so wild now. You seem oddly glum, though. Oh, I get it. You have a problem with a son who left his mom like that, even though she clearly needs help around the house, huh? I wonder. It is an odd story, I think. But I don't really mean to blame him. I mean, that's... Sojiro stopped himself mid-sentence. He didn't think the son hated his mother as much as he did the town. He'd probably just found somewhere better to live and moved away. Sojiro swallowed those bitter words. At first, I took the full amount as payment, but I thought 100,000 yen was way too much for a job that'll only last the month. He trailed off, muttering that he really didn't need that much money. The old woman had thanked him for his honesty. That was part of Sojiro's appeal, most likely. In a matter of days, the old woman put all her trust into Sojiro and treated him like her own grandson. I was honestly happy about that. The problem is, she always saw him off with a smile and asked him to return tomorrow. Every time he left, she gave him a stack of cash in the hope that he wouldn't forget her. Oh, that's really sad. That's what you're getting all that money for? She says she wants me to be her grandson? Be her grandson? Paying money for somebody to be your grandson? Oh man, no. She says she can trust me, so she wants me to act like I'm her grandson. That's crazy. It's hard to believe, but I guess a grandson for hire isn't much different from a house helper. No, it's different. She said she doesn't pay helpers because she can't trust them. She says she can only trust money. Oh. She seemed to have some quirks about her, probably because she'd been living alone for so long. By this point, she'd lost all faith in the goodwill of humankind. To her, the bonds of a family were nothing but fantasy. After being cast aside by her own family for so many years, the only thing that remained faithful to her was the money she'd saved. Over time, this led to her developing a strange complex. For her, the money she'd scrimped and saved, the last thing she could rely on, was the only way she could conceive of keeping someone in her life. That's crazy. She's just hiring help. It's not like she can just buy a grandson. I think she knows that more than anyone. Even if she knows it isn't real, that's just how hard it is for her to trust anyone. What she wants most in this world is for her grandchildren to visit her, but since that's not happening, she turned to the one thing she could trust to make that a reality. She wasn't buying him, though. She just trusted Sojiro from the bottom of her heart and was thanking him the only way she knew how. She didn't realize how that looked from other people's perspectives. Well, looks like you've gotten yourself into a real sticky situation again. But hey, try not to worry about it too much. I mean, it's a nice story. She's found something in her life that's even more important than money. It's something to be proud of. Really? I hope so. It was obvious from Sojiro's expression that all this still weighed heavily on him. Come on, cheer up. Knowing you, I bet you haven't spent any of the money she's given you. Are you saving it all up to give back to her when she inevitably runs out? Is that why you didn't tell Ozaki? Huh? How'd you know? It was just a guess, but I know how you are. Tobimaru decided it was best not to tell Sojiro about all the trouble they went through for him today. He knew Aoko would only make him regret it later if he did. So, let me tell you the worst thing about all this. The truth is, this old lady doesn't have any grandchildren. After a few moments of surprise, Tobimaru let out a sigh. He understood. Being widowed with a son who's moved into the city and grandchildren who never visit, that was a normal, full, and rich life. Sometimes, however, a person's dreams were all that kept them going. The bottom is limitless. For every tragic life, there is another even more tragic than that. You know, sometimes this town catches me off guard. Everyone looks so happy and blessed, but if you look hard enough, you start to see that's not always the case. It's like the entire town is fooling me. And Tobimaru leaned over the railing and looked down at the bustling town below. In the end, Sojiro's worry stemmed from his feeling lost in this environment. The woman who walked through life alone into old age. Tobimaru's struggle with being antagonized by his entire family. Those were both personal matters. Sojiro's problems stemmed from the nebulous entity of the town itself. For every bit of progress made through modernization, there were also people left in growing misfortune. It didn't matter whether they were unequal in wealth or compassion, it was all the same. The larger a town grows, the harder it becomes for the weak to thrive. For a young man who spent his life in the countryside where everyone helped each other, this was hard to understand. Do you really like it in this town? I honestly don't know yet. What about you? Similar. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't matter either way. Then again, I'm kind of the total opposite of you. In town, I can ignore my problems if I want. It's better than a place like this, anyway. There's something to this bustle and chaos that you can't discount, even if it does feel hollow at times. It's better than here? Not exactly. I just mean that I'd have more options. I'm sure you've thought this at your part-time jobs, but a town like this never leaves any gaps. Wherever there's an opening, that opening is going to be filled. The city is a really well-constructed community when you think about it. Someone you never knew the day before might be a neighbor you need to call on the very next day. The street corner that had nothing on it yesterday might have a new building on it today. Every single day in the city is like living through a major surgery in progress. It's seriously impressive that it works as well as it does. Something always makes me think that I'm not just living on my own. I'm able to survive thanks to the accomplishments of people I'll never know about. It's all a bunch of give and take. The fact that it works at all is a feat in and of itself. Just as the mountains are alive, so is the city. Tobimaru didn't seem to like the way that living creature had manifested itself, but even still. I see. You really respect it, huh? I mean, it's a little embarrassing, but yeah. As someone who was born and raised in the city, Tobimaru was thankful that complete strangers were able to help each other out. Honestly, you're just asking for too much. Nobody likes where they live in the beginning. You can't choose where you were born after all. You have to learn to like wherever it is you've decided to live, not the other way around. Tobimaru gave Sojiro's back a hard slap. It made Sojiro straighten up his posture and snap him out of his slump a bit. Okay, but what if you decide to live somewhere and you just can't like it no matter how hard you try? If you really don't like it, you can just move somewhere else. Don't be scared to run away from a bad place. You're meant to wander a bit in life. Sojiro was so impressed with Tobimaru's words, he couldn't speak. They gave him a new perspective. It wasn't just the words, "Don't be scared to run away from a bad place." What had really left a strong impression was Tobimaru's confidence. Although he'd been born in this town, he spoke freely of abandoning it. I never thought I'd hear you talk about running away. There's nothing wrong with running away if you have somewhere to run to. That's not to say you shouldn't hold on to words like victory and success or fortune and fame. I just think it's easy to feel stifled if you're always trying to win. I don't have the willpower of someone like Aozaki who can just power through things. I like to keep life light. You think life is better when it's light? I don't really mean lightweight or secure or anything like that. I just want more adventure, or, you know. Tobimaru furrowed his brow at his inability to find the proper words. What he wanted was simple. Look, I just want to live a life that I can laugh about. That was how he saw life. Tobimaru tried his best to put into words his thoughts, hoping his friend would find them useful. Like a comedian? Tobimaru's shoulders slumped in disappointment, but even so... Actually, yeah, sure. The more he thought about it, the more he realized that Sojiro wasn't really wrong. There was no end to human desire. The perfect life was an unattainable dream. The only way to really win was to be able to say with your dying breath that you had truly enjoyed living. Man, I wonder if this is Aozaki's influence. She's the type to take a gamble on anything. I bet she loves Bonnie and Clyde. Tobimaru tiredly scratched his head. He never would have said something like this last year, considering how pessimistic he had been then. Anyway, there's no end to it if you worry about everyone else's business. Look, sun's already going down. We've been out here forever. Sorry to keep you. Do you have something else you need to be doing? Maybe I'll just be good and head home. You should get home before it gets totally dark too. If they ask you what you were doing, just be honest. It's not as bad as you think it sounds. Sojiro frowned and fell silent. He still hadn't come to terms with his arrangement with that old woman yet. If he hadn't gone there in the first place, she might have not felt like anything was missing from her life. That feeling of regret was exactly why he wanted to talk to someone. I bet you think you've done something cruel to her, don't you? Like you showed her something that she can never have. Am I right? Damn, Sojiro was stunned into silence. Tobimaru knew exactly what Sojiro regretted. You shouldn't think that you have that much power over someone, Sojiro. Listen, if she thinks she messed up her life, then you should do whatever you can to help her. She's thinking rich, right? And get her to help people with it. There's so many problems in this world she can fix with her money. If you can get her to be proud of herself, then you'll have done a good job. It would make me happy, at least. But that still doesn't get rid of her suffering. Buddy, that's not something you can solve. Focus on the problems you can help with. If you can convince her to let you give the money back so she can use it to help others and herself, then she's won. That will give more meaning to her life than a fake grandson ever could. But if she says she's done enough and she wants to have the rest of her money, that means you've won. She'd prefer to think of you as her grandson. If that's the case, then there's no shame in taking that money from her. Jeez. These conditions are fair. Thanks for the talk, Tobimaru. His smile was no longer bitter. He would do whatever he could to help that old woman choose to assist others in need. Tobimaru thought that such unwavering confidence was the sign of true freedom. Don't worry about it. I needed it just as much as you. See you after the break. His goodbye wasn't the friendliest, but Sojiro didn't mind. He ran home with a big smile on his face. Tobimaru's smile was a bit less carefree as he left the footbridge. The time was 4:30 in the evening. Night would soon fall over the midwinter landscape. That it? Oh, we're not done yet. We gotta see what the fallout is like. Looks like it's gonna be a cold one tonight. Aoko and Alice, neither of them had eaten. Aoko looked displeased. Alice sat uncomfortably on the sofa. Were you two waiting? Quietly affirmed the assumption. Wait, what does that say? Vehemently what? Vehemently denied it. You seem even more worked up than you were last night. He'd gotten better at reading the room, but he still had difficulty choosing the right words. I'll show you worked up was what she wanted to say, but she stopped herself. She wasn't actually all that angry with Sojiro, but... What are you worked up about? Jesus Christ. Alice's additional remarks seemed to have been the tipping point. Sojiro thought this showed she was indeed worked up about something. Look at her go. I thought he seemed more normal than usual tonight. Sojiro felt like that was pretty offensive too, but let it slide. I'll just go ahead and ask. An organization called the Light of Truth? No, never heard about it in my life. Let's go. How can we have messed that up? Oh my god, bad rumors afloat. You seeing Aoko in this weekend stayed as an opportunity. The Blue Robin flew jauntily down from the sunroom. The whole neighborhood was like, oh, that Ozaki girl's gone and done it again. She took down a whole business with a snap of her fingers. You're an urban legend at this point. She gonna kill it? Yeah. Ah! Oh my god, ow! Is your part-time job finished? I made a separate bank account for it and deposited it this morning. I'll be giving it all back eventually. Sojiro took off his coat and began talking about his job as a home helper. He kept it simple, explaining how things began and the conclusion he'd come to with Tobimaru earlier. Aoko seemed stunned by the outlandish circumstances, but in the end... Okay, I should have known. I don't know if I'm relieved or disappointed. You really are incapable of doing anything or any wrong, aren't you? She was back to her usual offensive self. However, there was another girl in the room who had, at this point, gone pale. That wasn't your money? That's right. I'm just holding it for someone else. Alice? Are you okay? I just ordered takeout. Alice handed out menus for the local soba noodle shop and a cafe. The blood drained from Aoko's face as she took everything in. Alice quietly passed her a small note. On it was a hastily written order that was more than enough food for the three of them. You already ordered. I thought it was about time someone treated us. Oh my god, the facial expressions on all of them, especially Alice. You got everyone's hopes up. Alice was looking forward to you treating us to dinner, you know. He clapped his hands together for a second time. He remembered that Alice had said that yesterday. Yes, and you agreed. Eager to emphasize that this was not her fault. This is why you shouldn't walk around with so much money. I hope you learned your lesson. You two are just going to have to split the bill. The money's in the bank and I only have 500 yen on me. Oh my god! What do you mean you don't have any money, Alice? What do you mean you're the richest person here? Your family influences Japan. What are you talking about? Oh, she hated to coddle them, but perhaps this was her fate. I should have known this would happen. I'll pay for it. I got some unexpected income today. I wonder why. Wait, what did it say? Made both Sojiro and Alice perk up. You're going to treat us? I can't believe my ears. Are you sure? You can't cancel now. If you called them earlier, they're probably already on their way up the hill. It's a thank you present from the victims advocacy group. This way it goes back into the shopping district anyway, so don't worry about it. I do think it's a bit of a waste though, if I'm being honest. Her roommates began celebrating and Aoko sank back onto the sofa upon seeing the happiness her gesture brought. Easy come, easy go. All that extra money gone just like that. And thus, the curtain closed on a little incident involving a lot of cash. That one would knock you right out of your Goldilocks, eh? The Robin tripped and mimicked puffing on a cigarette. All of that aside, let's always remember this as the Dosh affair. So we never forget the gravel and grit Miss Aoko dragged herself through. The Blue Robin continued to laugh at that day's hero. Pew! Right in the face. Bing, 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 bing. It's like pinball. Someone knocked at the door. Alice had ordered her favorite omelet dish and a set of cakes from the cafe. Might as well enjoy. She was quietly satisfied with the spoils of an honest day's work. A case for the president. That's the name of the achievement we just got. Oh my god. Okay, so what I can't believe is that not only was this filler, this truly, like, it's so unimportant to the story and to the main plot, everything that we've been experiencing in the 8 chapters that we've read of Witch on the Holy Night thus far. It also has some of the best character development I've read in the story, because these first 8 chapters have just been a lot of setting, a lot of set dressing, a lot of getting to know the characters, but developments, learning, and also more like lore about side characters, and like real, genuine, authentic connection between the characters. That was a lovely conversation between Shizuki and Tomimaru. I can't believe it. I can't believe what I just read. That was one of my favorite experiences from this visual novel so far, and it came in the form of chapter 8.5. Oh my god. Anyway, if you guys want to talk about this chapter or how they're setting up this game as a whole, go ahead and put it down in the comments. I'm curious to know what you guys think. I really enjoyed this, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I definitely did, and I will see you guys in the next video. So for now, have a good rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Bye!